Hello, welcome again. Sorry for the delay, but in live events it happens. Maybe a bit about me. I am Bakhtiyar. I work as infrastructure software engineer at Zendesk, and I'm coming from Tallinn, Estonia today. Today I want to talk about OpenTelemetry Semantic Conventions. What are they and how you can get most of it, hopefully, after this session. So yeah, let's start. But before we start, maybe a bit about OpenTelemetry for those who don't know or don't use. So OpenTelemetry is an observability framework. It's not yet another vendor. It's not a log storage, or it's not just one tool. It's basically instrumentation SDKs, libraries, OpenTelemetry collector, semantic conventions, and even custom OTLP protocol for delivering telemetry signals like traces, metrics, logs, even profiles, etc. But you may ask, who is this guy and what it has to do with OpenTelemetry? So he's Ted Young. He's a co-founder of OpenTelemetry project. OpenTelemetry as a project started in 2019. It was a merge of two projects which were end of life, OpenTracing and OpenCensus. In earlier April, there was a Grafana-con in Barcelona, and Ted was talking about the next milestone for OpenTelemetry as a project. And he said that the next milestone is to make OpenTelemetry as boring as possible. For him, boring in observability means making it stable, actually. So for him, the opposite of boring is not actually interesting. It's frustrating. So, yeah, OpenTelemetry as of May 11, I guess, is a CNCF graduated project. So everyone basically voted positive. So maybe a round of applause for who contributed to the project and made it to this big milestone. And yeah, if you go to a CNCF list of projects, even that webpage shows us it's a graduated project now. Yeah, what's the problem that semantic conventions is actually trying to solve, and what I am here to talk? I think in most organizations you have seen that the same attribute, multiple naming across multiple telemetry signals, teams, even products. So it adds up quite quickly. For example, the most basic one is a method for HTTP. One team calling it just method, another one is HTTP underscore method. Even some old school guys call it request verb. But SemConf is what it defines as a standard. Basically, it should call http.request.method. And even for the values, it defines as a upper score get. So, yeah, here's a meme, the maintainer from Nebraska meme. You may remember it. Observability as by design is a term which I think coined in last year at KubeCon Observability Days. Basically, in most organizations or in most projects, observability is an afterthought. Everyone just ships a product, ships a feature, and then when something is broken, or when you need to just debug something or find the latency, you add observability from that point on. But observability by design means that you should set the goals beforehand. You need to define observability objectives upfront. You need to get most benefit from the tooling that are provided by community. You need to validate these basically observability contracts. I will talk some about a bit later. And you need to iterate this process over and over again. This is how you design observability as you design basically API, for example. So you wouldn't ship an API without a spec. Maybe you would, but you know that it's not the way to go. Why you ship telemetry without a spec? Actually, this is where OpenTelemetry Semantic Conventions comes in. So, OpenTelemetry Semantic Conventions is more than 900 attributes, and which are divided into 70 plus domains. The project is quite big. It is maintained by multiple special interest groups. It's YAML defined, so many people will hate it probably, but it is for a reason. The semantic conventions is versioned and stability tracked. It has a stability defined, for example, for each entity. It's schema driven. I will not go much into detail, but today later I saw that there is a nice coincidence, another OpenTelemetry talk, which talks about schema driven observability. So if you are interested, maybe join that. And it's machine readable, Weaver, Wink. We will talk about it later. So the landscape is pretty rich. As I said, it's more than 900 attributes. Those attributes divided under multiple groups. For example, there is a service semantic conventions, host, process, database. Even the most recent and emerging one is generative AI. Apart from this, there are vendor-specific conventions as well. AWS, Google, or even under GenAI, it is Anthropic, AWS Bedrock, OpenAI, etc. So semantic conventions grouped into multiple dimensions. For example, there are semantic conventions grouped by signal types, like span semantic conventions, or traces semantic conventions, metrics and logs, etc. So, if you have spent enough time in object-oriented development, you may heard the term design by contract. It's a term coined by Bertrand Meyer in 1986, and today we will try to apply it to telemetry signals. Basically, design by contract means components of a software interact with formal definitions called contracts. Those are basically those are asserts that both components are compliant with a defined contracts. So, for example, if an operation runs, there are preconditions which should be true. There are postconditions which should be true after the operation is finished, and there are invariants, which means they will never change. If we apply to this OpenTelemetry, or in general observability, for example, there are attributes that should be present. Those have defined meanings, and those defined contracts are always exist. Yeah, semantic conventions doesn't enforce any contract. So if you have a contract without enforcement, it's just a suggestion, and probably it will be broken at some point. In this case, here comes a Weaver. It's a CLI tool written in Rust. So we are saved from rewrite, and it helps you to. It's basically tooling that powers OpenTelemetry Semantic Conventions. It helps you to generate code from your registry. It helps you to verify. It helps you to validate in CI. It helps you to generate documents and etc. Actually, I have a quick demo to show how it works. So this is my custom registry, which I call Pizza Ops. You can see that it has two subgroups, one for delivery operations and other one for pizza attributes. OpenTelemetry, we were a project using OPA, Open Policy Agent, and it uses Rego as a DSL or syntax. Yep. So I will try to now break the policy and see how it validates actually. Looking at the, for example, looking at this violation, we can see that it denies attributes that are missing a brief field. So I will remove a brief field for one attribute and see how it works. And if I do make check, I have a make file with all shorthands. If I do make check, you see that it's a missing required property brief. So this is how you actually validate. This is one single most important feature of the Weaver project. So most people, and you should probably also make it a part of your CI system. So in any case of breach of contract, you would catch it. Another feature of the OpenTelemetry Weaver project is code generation and documents generation. So let's start with the documents. I have an index HTML here, but it actually uses Jinja templates. So that's how you dynamically generate your documentation using a Jinja template. So this is what it generates, and piece of semantic conventions. You can see that it nicely describes all the fields and all the attributes, and with all basically whole model. So you see the type, you see the stability model. These are defined as an OpenTelemetry enhancement proposal maturity model. I didn't talk much about it, but it's another topic on its own, basically. And you see the short description, which are actually the brief fields that we just deleted and checked it. So you may ask why we need this. And actually, I will have another repo, which is OpenTelemetry official demo, but I plugged in another small service, which is a pizza service. So this is official OpenTelemetry demo. But by the way, this is also maintained by the OpenTelemetry project officially. So if you want to play around with observability, if you have an idea, you want to break it, you fix it, and you learn by doing. So this is my pizza service, and it just shows a margarita pizza. Looks quite tasty, and it just it's basically a checkout page. Okay. Yep. So this is Jaeger, and via Jaeger you can just OpenTelemetry native UI for traces. You can just find your traces and just export it. And if we choose the pizza service already chosen and last hour find traces, we can see that it has a lot of traces. And if I go to the specific service created trace, you can see that these are all my custom defined semantic conventions, nicely attached to each span. And how we get the traces to attach our custom semantic conventions. So this is my pizza service, and this is the most important line. So you can see that I have semantic conventions imported as a Go package, but it actually the generated semantic conventions module, which I defined in a custom registry. So here I use it as a typed constants. For example, pizza attributes, pizza type, and etc. If I go to the definition, I get to my auto-generated code, which is a result of Hotel Viewer project. You can see it, it's auto-generated. This is another nice feature of the Viewer project. Basically, what Weaver does is it generates typed constants for your selection of the language. There are more templates you can explore. For example, you can generate Python, JavaScript, or whatever else. And if you use typed constants instead of hard-coded strings, then you have a single source of truth, and the whole organization within your team, or organization, or your team, or any other teams, they all agree on a single way of defining OpenTelemetry conventions. So yeah, this is a short and sweet demo. Hopefully it's made it clear. Yeah. What if the attributes that you need is non-existent in OpenTelemetry project in general? Well, you can always open a PR, you can always propose your idea, and you can always join a SIG meeting to make it happen, actually. So this is me, and end of last year, I needed a new attribute, service.criticality. Maybe a bit about story why I need this. So at my organization, we are using tail sampling processor, and for each services, we wanted to apply different sampling strategy. And hotel collector doesn't have something like criticality that you can just define for your each service. For example, if your service is a payment, then it's high critical. Then it means you can apply a higher sampling rate, so you would retain more traces. It's easier to debug an issue. If it's, for example, email service, not so important, it has a criticality of low, then you could apply another sampling, which is lower, basically. So I had this proposal, I asked it, I joined SIG meetings, and in the end, after quite a bit of time, I should say, it is already merged to the mainstream project. So, Semantic Conventions accepts PRs. Just file an issue, open PR, and if you have a discussion, join CNCF Slack channel, which is Hotel Semantic Conventions. SIG members are super helpful, so if you are not even sure your proposal is valuable or not, I think you should still file the issue and let the discussion start from there. You can find your SIG, join the meeting, they have a calendar invites and recurring meetings. Just join and discuss your proposal. If you want to prove that your feature is kind of useful, you can use Hotel Demo as a proof of concept. This is kind of agreed way to do it. This is what also I did, and it's quite nice actually. So hopefully, what are the takeaways you should go home with from this talk? Telemetry is an API surface. Your SLOs, your alerts, dashboards are your API consumers. You have to design it accordingly. Semantic conventions plus Weaver, it's enforceable contracts. Use them, and earlier is better. The contracts matter more than tool choice. It doesn't matter what backend storage vendor you use. You have to first start with defining clean contracts between your components within observability. Service.name was just beginning. There are, as I mentioned, there are over 900 plus attributes. You should find everything in official repo. Just go and explore. In the end, if you see that one specific convention attribute or whole subgroup is missing, it's always better to contribute back to community, as I mentioned previously. Yeah, that's all. Thank you for listening.